Hey guys, Merry Early Happy Christmas. So today we are taking a look at the only advent calendar-esque thing that I'm going to be looking at this year. And I made an exception for this one because it is both a small creator and it is part of the Easily Influenced series, and I thought it might actually be really good. Today we're taking a look at Sarah Cray's Let's Make Art Advent Calendar. The problem with doing Christmas content is you have to do it at or around Christmas. You absolutely cannot do it later than Christmas or else two adorable pugs will adopt you. And I have a cat and a rat. I don't think we have room for pugs. And you can't do it much earlier than December lest you're spoiling it. Above all else, you absolutely cannot get sick mid-November and lose 2 weeks, waking up on December 1st blurry-eyed and behind schedule. You cannot do that. So today we are taking a look at the Let's Make Art Advent watercolor box. Technically, I should have started this on December 1st. Here we are on December 9th, and hopefully I'll have something for you guys on December 12th. So the thing about this is because it is an Advent thing and because Sarah Cray is releasing tutorials to go with this December 1st through December 12th, so she's actually actively releasing them, I had a juggling act. I couldn't open it earlier than December 1st because we're missing half the Advent calendar. And I'm not sure she's going to take those videos down after the 12th. So depending on how you celebrate Christmas, like Catholics, for example, celebrate Advent, which is like from very early December, I think it's like December 3rd, all the way to like January 6th. I will fact check myself. So for them, an Advent calendar could take place anytime during December. Protestants, many of them, if they do an Advent calendar at all, it's more like the 12 days of Christmas. So I wasn't really sure when Sarah was starting this calendar or when I should open this calendar. So I kind of sort of split the difference. I probably should have started it on December 1st, but I've been playing some catch up and getting some things scheduled and getting some things together and working on commissions. And I'm still working on commissions. Thank you so much, by the way. But I had a little moment of free desk space where I could at least get started on this. Am I going to do every day in the Advent calendar? I'm going to open every day in the calendar. I may do a couple of select days, kind of like what we did with Sarah's floral workbook. I am not going to show her videos here because I don't want to spoil her content. I'm not looking to like create a reason for you not to watch her videos or not to buy her box. This is really a review of how the two work together. So when it comes to the videos, you're just going to have to kind of trust me on whether I say I like it or whether or not I say I don't. Now, I have reviewed some of the Let's Make Art kits. That review will probably not be out before this review. The timing just didn't work out, so I know that's kind of weird. But in general, I found her kits to be pretty good. Particularly the video portions were good. They explained everything. They demonstrated everything. I didn't have any questions. The printout portions lacked a lot, but if you watch the video portions, it'll fill in the gaps. So if you have internet access, or if you're willing to allow access to watch these videos, this might make a really good gift should she continue to do it next year. On that note, I think this is the only Advent calendar I'm doing this year. I've already decided, and I talked about not doing the Arteza Advent calendars, and I missed out on the Blue Pine Arts paint calendar. I don't know how. I was refreshing my emails a bunch of times on the day she said they were going to be in her shop, but I still missed them. So I think this is it for Advent calendars for this year. So for context, this is the Advent box that I ordered, the 12 Days of Christmas mystery box. It went on sale since, but I believe this is the price right here that I paid. So it is fairly expensive, and you get 12 plus days of different art goodness, different art projects, different art activities. This could be a great thing next year to do with an artsy kid or teen, or to share with a friend, because since these are daily activities, I feel like that works really well towards doing it together while the kids are at home. And maybe that's just where I'm leaning because I teach teenagers. So like I'm already thinking about things like that and those kind of activities. She says that it's 18 hand curated items valued over $200. If you order more than one of this particular mystery box, they will be identical. This product is non-refundable and cannot be exchanged. And I appreciate that the listing doesn't seem to contain any spoilers because, you know, oh, actually, apparently, somebody already gave it a 5-star review, waiting for it to arrive. That's not how reviews work. Fortunately, I have it here. You guys can't see that because I'm actually recording the desktop. Anyway, I have it here. We're going to actually talk about it, and you guys should know that any reviews that I give are as unbiased as I possibly can do. And if there is a bias, I do try to disclose it. So on that note, I have reviewed some of Sarah Cray's kits, and I have reviewed her floral workbook, and I did like both. So I have fairly high expectations of what we're going to see with this 12 Days of Christmas mystery box. This box is so big that I actually have some difficulty doing this with my current recording rig. So we have a little bit of kind of bedraggled, honestly, Excelsior. I do think packing this tighter, like, you know, with corn puffs or whatever, would be a good idea. Because as you guys can see, there is a lot of rattle around room. And the box itself was quite heavy. And I think the way this goes is, okay, maybe not projects, but because it's referenced as a mystery box, but these might be items. So what I might do is open a few, like, you know, 1 and 2, and kind of get an idea for that. But I have to pull them all out of the box first so that we can get rid of this empty box. I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually have a fairly small live recording area. So it's a little bit challenging to get everything in here. But we have 1 through 5 and then 6 through 12. Some of these days are quite heavy. One of these days feels like it might be a spiral sketchbook. So what I want to do is I want to open day 1 and take a look at it. So here is day 1. It is in a small plastic bag. And so in this bag, I have destroyed it. There are no instructions. There's no tutorial. We have 2 tubes of Daniel Smith watercolors, which you guys know I happen to like Daniel Smith watercolors. And I am actually going to do a total value or an estimated total value and see if that lines up with what Sarah has said it should be. And so far, decent start. These tend to be kind of expensive. We have King's Royal Blue and Iridescent Vibrant Raspberry. And there's no way she could have known this, but I actually don't have these colors, so they are actually quite welcome. So I already have a complaint. The instructions, the information is sent via email. It's not under Sarah Cray, it's under Let's Make Art. And my email wants to pull up all of the other emails I've gotten from her mailing list or things that I bought from her, but not the Let's Make Art Christmas surprise box. You actually have to look up 12 Days surprise box. And my inbox is showing that I have only received 1 email, and that is for what is in day 6. I know that can't be true, so I'm gonna have to dig. So here is my complaint. If you're giving this as a gift, there should have been printouts or a link, a QR code, or something with every single item in this box. I say printouts because not everybody has internet access. Not everyone is allowed internet access. Some families like to limit their internet access. And I just think it's respectful to treat it that way. My own art kits come with really, really fleshed out written instructions in addition to video instructions. And another concern I have is because it's going to email, if you gave this as a gift, it's going to go to the person who gave the gift, not the person receiving the gift. And if the person who gave the gift is, let's say a little less tech savvy, like I am today, they're going to be missing things. They're going to be missing information. They're going to be missing, maybe Sarah had a rationale for why she included these. I don't know. I am only getting the instructions for day 6. So this makes it less usable. So having a print version, or at the very least a link that they can type in and go directly to, or having all of these days in a document that could be printed out and given with the box, would be a really good idea. It would be really, really helpful. And that's like my big complaint with Sarah Cray's stuff, is it's generally the written part of it, the physical like instructions part of it is weak, and the online part of it is strong. And you know, not everybody's going to have internet access. Not everybody is going to be able to access these things. So so far I am only seeing the organizer, which got sent to me on day 6. And after I clicked a link, it is this whole, you know what? I don't think it spoils anything to show you guys. I'm just going to show you. This is a spoiler for day 6. These are the assembly instructions. Okay. So it is a PDF. It is a multi-page PDF. It takes, if you're printing this out to include, it's going to eat up a lot of paper. Like this could have been done more succinctly. And if you're working from a phone, this PDF is going to be kind of a struggle bus to read on a phone. And I'm really not trying to just be nitpicky. It's just, like I said, I teach a lot of teenage students whose parents limit how much internet they have and don't allow them social media access. And I 100% get why. So I do think, depending on who you're marketing to, depending on who your target audience is, this could be a gift for a teenager. This could be a gift for an older person. So considering including the instructions with the package itself, I think that would be a really good way to go. So what I had hoped to do was open a day, pull up the instructions, and kind of just talk in general about it. Not necessarily showing you guys the full instructions, but so we have a basis of comparison. Unfortunately, that is not going to be easy. So I think what I'm going to do instead is open all of the days in order, and then when I can find instructions or information like why Sarah chose to include 2 tubes of Daniel Smith paint on this day. Isn't there supposed to be a project? I really feel like I'm missing something here. So I'm gonna like dig through the box, even though the box is empty and I am staring at the box, and I'm gonna go back to her website and I'm gonna dig through my email and do all of that before checking back in with you guys, because I feel like I'm missing something here. And look, let's be real. For when you're giving gifts, it has to be all in. Especially kits, like you can't leave pieces, parts out. That is the ticket to frustration. I know, because I got a lot of kits growing up and I love kits. And sometimes family members understood, like I got an embroidery kit one year and I was really excited about it. And I have several family members who embroider, so they could kind of explain things to me and give me things from their own stashes to fill out the kit. But there was a year I got like a knitting kit and no one in my family knits and no one could help me and the instructions were terrible. So if you're going to release these kind of products, they really have to be solid. And maybe I should just assume this is a fan product and that fans of Sarah Cray are the ones who are going to be buying it, and they're going to be buying it for themselves and they're already on board. But is that such a stretch when we're talking about art influencers? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to see if I can find some more information because I feel like I'm really missing something. All right, so I stepped away for a few hours. It's been a little while. I had a chance to think about how I wanted to handle this. And I think what I'm going to do is just open them, okay? I felt a sketchbook somewhere in here, so I am going to do swatches, but I'm going to save that until after I've opened all of them. Only one day, day 6, came with any kind of instructions at all. I'm recording this on day 9, so if any of the rest in our 3 remaining days come with instructions, come with information, come with a tutorial, come with something, I will add that in post, or I'll talk about it at least in post for all fairness. But as of day 9, only day 6 came with anything like that. And I showed it to you guys. I do kind of feel like I love the idea of the curation. I love the idea of somebody else putting together a box for you. And if you're not an art supply person, this allows you to give the gift of art supplies, hopefully good art supplies, without having to know anything about art supplies. That seems like a really charming idea. I would be happy to offer the service myself, but in a very different fashion, because I love art supplies and I love shopping for art supplies and I love helping people find gifts that they like. So I love the idea. But the fact that it doesn't come with any explanation, any tutorials, anything like that, so far as I've seen, is kind of concerning. Also, this is a lot of plastic. Most of these could have been wrapped in glassine bags, and by that I mean the wax paper glassine. Like, we don't need all this plastic. So next up is day 2. Plastic bags are a little hard to get into. Inside day 2 is a Let's Make Art Classic angular wash brush. And there's something else in here. It is wrapped in bubble wrap. It feels like it might be a ceramic brush rest, which, thank you. I use chopstick rests, but these are so helpful and they're very cute. This is a little hard to get into because it is delicate enough that I could theoretically snap it or break it. So I want to be careful about that. But yeah, look how charming that is. I like that. Of course, if you don't know what you're looking at, you might not realize it's a brush rest. But now we know. So we got a brush and a rest for day 2. On day 3, we have a cardboard box. It has been sealed with a plastic tape dot. Don't know why we couldn't have used. I'm going to cut myself trying to get this open. All right, there we go. So this is day 3. What are you? What are you? Oh, okay. And we may actually finally have gotten some paperwork. We do. Okay. So this is a magnetic frame. I love this. I've been eyeballing these on Amazon for a while, and it looks like we've got one frame and then some additional cordage. I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. So that is day 3. And I want to try to keep the mess to a minimum. So I'm going to be tossing things into the box as I go along. So this is day 4. I'm telling you guys, it's a lot. I feel a little bad about how many plastic bags this is. It's a lot of plastic bags. And they're kind of hard to get into. That's another thing. Like, I'm really racking it to get into it, and I might rack the product inside. So I'm not, I don't know, I am a little bit clumsy, but inside that's beautiful. This looks like a handmade paper. So that is super cool. And I have to give Let's Make Art credit. This is something that I love and I would never buy for myself. So I'm actually really excited about that. That's really cool. A multi-purpose journal, ideal for writing, drawing, sketching, and multimedia and more. Well, with a texture like this, I wouldn't say writing, but it is probably great for watercolor. So that is day 4. Here is day 5. And I'm just not even gonna play. I'm gonna get the knife, use the knife. Where are the scissors? So inside day 5, we have a Sta4edtler compass, a Sta4edtler Student compass, not even one of the nicer ones. It's bringing me back to elementary school with day 5. Day 6 is the one that we received instructions for. It is an art supply, a bamboo or a wooden laser cut art supply organizer. Okay, so kind of looking like Pinocchio here, and it seems to be bamboo. And I'm gonna need to pull up the instructions for that, and I'll do that later. So this is day 6, day 7. Okay, looks like there's some thread in there. What are you? Okay, all right. I am guessing because we didn't get any instructions. And this is we're past day 7. This is an ornament, and maybe we're supposed to do paint dots on here. I don't know. She didn't give instructions, and it has her brand name on it. Now, if you guys, I like Alexandria Ryan's Advent calendar reviews. I look forward to them every year. She is such a delight, and I feel like she has pointed out in the past that promo items for your business shouldn't be part of it, shouldn't be a day of an advent calendar. Like, you can include them, but they shouldn't be a day, especially with no instructions, because maybe this is actually a really cool concept and I'm just not getting it. And without giving me any kind of context, I'm just like, what is this? What is this for? We don't have any. Day 8, I started to open before I even finished my sentence. At least this one was a little easier to open. Inside day 8 is a ceramic mug. It's a dangerous gift to give artists because a lot of artists I know will use mugs as like their watercolor water and then accidentally drink it. But that's not to say we don't love mugs. This says, embrace the artist within, and it says, let's make art, and then it has the made in China on the bottom. I was really kind of hoping she would be working with small vendors, but obviously not really the case. And while I do love me a good mug and I drink a lot of coffee, I don't know how this counts as an art supply. So here is day 9, and that is officially the day we're actually on, because it's on, today is December 9th. Ooh, okay. So inside is a towel. I'm sorry, it is a Kleenex. It is a handkerchief. I don't know what it's made out of. It is possibly screen printed. I don't think it's screen printed though, because screen printing usually leaves a heavier residue. And it is another branded product. I really did not realize that this was going to be 3 branded things in a row. I thought it was like a curated selection of art essentials, but maybe I need to go back and reread the listing because maybe I'm not understanding. So this is our day 9. Maybe it's a watercolor rag, but honestly, like for a watercolor rag, I wouldn't want any printing at all on it because that affects how it absorbs water. Here is day 10. This is the one I thought was a sketchbook. We've switched bag brands because this is a Uline bag and it's made differently from the other ones, and it's also not as bright and colorful. Also, I'm not intentionally complaining a lot. I'm just pointing out things as I notice them. Sometimes that does come across. Okay, all right. So we do have some Daniel Smith dot cards, and this is actually her curated collection. I think that's really cool. That is a whole part of my Easily Influenced series, so I'm actually really excited because this video now becomes a twofer. And then also we have a Create Your Own 2024 calendar, 12 months to paint, create, and play, made in the USA, let's make art. Spoiler alert, you're good at this. So this is a calendar of, it's all, all right, y'all, it is all water. It's a calendar printed on watercolor paper. There is nothing in it. And even the days are watercolor paper. So if you wanted to do like a mini doodle on like a birthday or on Christmas, you could. I have mixed feelings about this. Part of me loves this idea. The ADHD realist in me knows I'm not gonna do any of the months. Maybe if she'd gone with line arts for this, I might have done that, but like, my executive function disorder is high, and adding something like this to the pile of things a Becca should do is high. So I love the idea. I feel like the bullet journal girlies, the ones who get really into that, maybe some of the card makers would maybe get really into this. Like, I can't even make cards to send to people because I will forget, and they will, a July birthday, will get it in December. So I'm like mixed. This is a very person specific thing. I'm also curious if she sells this in her shop. I do like that she included the Daniel Smith watercolors with it. That makes sense to me. That makes, like, everything we're getting so far, well, we'll talk about that more, but at least you could make some art already, and I think that's cool. Next is day 11. It is a smaller package in gray this time. Oh, it's a paint puck. I have mixed feelings again. I love paint pucks, but I have several paint pucks because I love paint pucks, and I've talked about paint pucks a lot. They are a really good product. However, I've recently been doing more acrylic stuff, and I didn't want to use my watercolor cups with acrylic. So maybe this is actually a perfect inclusion because this can go live at the bottom of the glass jar that I use when I do acrylics. And I actually have an acrylic project that I'm about to start that it's a Christmas present for a family member. I'm really excited about it. So honestly, this might have come just in time. And then finally, day 12. Heavy. Day 12 should be like the big deal, right? It should be the ultimate, not the penultimate, the ultimate of all our days, right? It should be like the most expensive, the nicest, at least that's how I feel. There we go. Okay. What is inside? What are you? What are you? What are you? Okay, so for day 12, we received a ceramic tile that I think I know what we're supposed to do with it, but there's no instructions. It's a ceramic tile, and there is some area that was left unglazed, and I have a feeling she's going to tell us to watercolor to make the colors pop. And it says courageous and creative, and it comes with a very small, cheap mini easel, the kind you can find at Dollar Tree. And that is our day 12. Would I call it our ultimate? No, not really. But look, if I have learned one thing reviewing advent calendars, so doing advent calendar reviews, almost said doing advent calendars, and then I was like, wait, y'all might misconstrue. I would love to release an advent calendar, but I'm not there yet. So I'm not doing advent calendars in that regard. But also, watching a lot of Alexandria Ryan's advent calendars, and girl reviews a lot of advent calendars. I feel like advent calendars are just like often a bad idea, often lose steam by the end, are generally not as good a gift as they seem like. Like, if you're gonna make a custom advent calendar for a specific person in your life, wonderful idea. I love it. I'm here for it. I should probably do a video where I talk about what I would put in such an advent calendar, right? Like, that's a charming idea, and I talk about it every year, and I never do it. To be real, I haven't found a wooden advent calendar big enough for it, so there you go. Because I wouldn't want to go the bag route. But anyway, but like commercial advent calendars and even some of these hand-curated advent calendars I feel bad saying this because there's some big things in here and also some good things in here. But there's also a lot of like, but did we need this in an art advent calendar? Like, what is this? We should have gotten our instructions for this. Or why a mug? Why do I need a Let's Make Art branded mug that says made in China? Why do I need a handkerchief that says Let's Make Art? I mean, I will at least use the mug, okay? Like, I drink a lot of tea and a lot of coffee. I'll use the mug, but like, what am I gonna do? I use Viva paper towels when I'm watercoloring, you guys. Like, what am I doing with this? I don't even know. Then there's like some ideas that are great ideas, but it really depends on the person receiving it. Like this calendar, I love the idea. I'm not gonna do this. If I were an art teacher though, teaching like at a K through 12, I might issue each of my kids a calendar like this, and on the first class of every month we create, so like their project would be at the start, they would come up with 12 thumbnails, one for each month of the year, representing what that month means to them. And then they would be challenged every month to do the illustration at the top as like kind of an icebreaker into the month, right? Like I can actually see uses for this as a teacher, but like me as a personal mess, maybe I'll do it, right? Like maybe I can challenge myself to do it. Maybe I'll do it. And then the ceramic tile thing. Now this is day 12. Maybe we're going to get instructions on day 12, but I'll be real, y'all. Like I have a mess of a house. I don't need more. I know what you're thinking. Like, girl, you don't need all this. I don't need more like cute display stuff. I'm an artist. I make cute displays. Like that's my bread and butter. So I don't really, maybe it's a coaster. I don't, but then it would have cork on the back or something on the back. It's just, I don't know. Okay. So, I need to double check because I feel like I remember the site saying that this box has a value of $200. I do actually want to compare it with the price that she's charging. So, I feel like that's a little more, not necessarily a little more fair when you say something is a $200 value. It should be a $200 value. It should be. Honestly, if she had included, and maybe I missed this, if she'd included a tutorial for every day, I would be way more excited about this box. But that's also because that is the direction I thought she was going in. So this is what her site says versus what we receive. Day 1 is add new colors to your world. Day 2 is called all in the details. Day 3 is finally a solution for displaying your favorite artwork. Day 4 is you've seen this featured on Sarah Cray's Instagram. Day 5 is be guided in your creative adventures. Day 6 is perfectly pairs with day 1's gift. We're gonna assemble this, but I don't even know how. Day 7 is deck the halls. So I guess this really is an ornament and she didn't even like remove the back. I'll show you how to do that, but like, all right, didn't paint it, didn't do anything to make it more special. Day 8 is multi-purpose. Some prefer to sip from it, others prefer to dip brushes. If only it came with a tea bag. Day 9 is dries a dish or a soggy brush. Day 10 is a highly requested item that will help you map out 2024. Day 11 is a groovy, okay, there we go. A groovy cleaning solution. And then day 12 is a piece of LMA for your art space. Y'all, I have no spare tables for this to go on. And then there is a special gift. Sarah created an exclusive tutorial video just for you. It also says, okay, so the description says, with help from artist Sarah Cray, we've curated a bundle of supplies that will help inspire, encourage, and spark your creativity. We hope you enjoy this magical box as much as we enjoyed hand-picking each surprise. Discover 18 new art products and accessories, 9 of which are exclusive to our shop. Open each gift alongside Sarah December 1st through 12th. Okay, I have a lot of problems here, okay? I would not call this, for sure, I would not call this an art accessory or a product. Or an ornament, to be real, an art accessory or a product. Like, I know some people use their mugs to dip their brushes, but y'all who watch my channel know I never do. I always advise you don't ever use drinkware. Think of it like you're in your science lab in 7th grade. You don't ever use labware to eat or drink from. You don't ever use artsware to eat or drink from. And that can work in reverse. Like, Don't use your favorite tea mug to mix watercolor, to use for watercolor water. It's just, you're giving yourself bad habits and you're gonna slip up. That's why I'm a big proponent of the like click and go cups. Those don't look like something you drink from. You're not going to make that mistake. Sorry, I didn't mean to get heated, and here I am. I don't even know why I'm heated, other than like disappointed because Sarah Cray does actually do some good work. Like, I like her watercolor floral book, although I have some problems with it, and I think her art kits are pretty great. So like, this isn't terrible, but it's not what I thought it would be, and my brain doesn't know what to do with that. Also, art influencers, can we stop with being art influencers for a minute? Like, I like your art, but I don't like your branding. I'm not here to buy your branding. Your branding is not why I'm here. I'm here for your art. So if you're gonna release products that are like your brand, can it have your art instead? Cannot talk, I'm so sorry. Can it have your art on it instead of like these quippy sayings like Jane Davenport? Also a fan of like the quippy sayings, and like, I have been an artist since I was 13. I don't need your courageous and creative tile. I don't need embrace the artist within. For real, y'all. If any of y'all watching this need that, let me know in the comments, because maybe I'm just the wrong audience. You could literally send me a mug that has like a cute paintbrush instead on it, and I'd be like, I love this. It was made for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm also not a word art kind of person in general. So like, I might just be the wrong audience, but like, we don't need your branding like front and center. Your branding doesn't need to be the product. Your branding is not why I bought this. I'll be very honest. Following her instructions and trying to assemble this, I am just totally confused. I don't even know where I messed up. And to be fair, I've had a long day, and I was hanging out with my family, so there may or may not have been a lot of bickering. So I can't follow it at all. So I am going to ask Joseph if he can assemble this thing for me, because I tried. And if you can't assemble it, just be honest, because that is a reflection. I have the instructions right here. You don't have to talk. That is just a reflection of how these instructions are written. the organizer is built with Joseph's help. I could not get the rubber bands on some of them. They do have notches, but the tolerances on this thing are not great. I am going to use this. I actually have a shelf right behind where my camera mount is, and I'm sure I can clutter it up real quick using this. So that is what this is going to be used for. It does actually have a purpose. So the point of this organizer is you're supposed to cram like a bunch of things. It won't hold, maybe it will hold, I don't know. It'll hold my scissors. I didn't think it would, but you're supposed to put, and that's gonna work super great, a bunch of items in. So the leaf shape is to hold a lot of things rather than like tubes of paint. Or this is already like, it already frustrated me, and now it's really frustrating me. So it's time to put this to the side and not have a little moment, a little executive function emotional dysregulation meltdown. All right, so let's talk instead about all the other days. I love how some of these are not even assembled at all, like the Let's Make Art ornament. Now, I think something she could have done that is really cute is a lot of dice makers will actually rub, forgive me, I don't know what I'm talking about, dice friends. I've just seen y'all do it. I don't know what it is. They rub like a liquid acrylic or something into the grooves and then wipe off the excess and it stays in the grooves. That would have been super cute. This is laser cut. Somebody got a glow forge for Christmas last year. Not me, but anyway. And she left the backing on. Something else that would have been cute is if she'd gone for like the mirrored acrylic so like it's reflective. That would have been very cute, or a fun colored acrylic or glow in the dark acrylic. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me a good clear acrylic, but this is a whole day. This is a whole day for a box that I paid $149.99 for, that is currently $129.99 because it's on sale, and promises a $200 value. These are also 18 hand curated items. And we get a palette that doesn't do anything, doesn't have paint, like paint dots would have been super cute. I am seeing a lot of like Art of Soils, very, very cute paint ornaments. And there's somebody else I follow on Instagram who makes paint, who's doing paint ornaments, and they're very, very cute. Like that would have been this would have worked for that. Unfortunately, no. Now, something I am not understanding is what I have seen from Sarah Cray's kits, and I might be wrong. I haven't bought all of her kits ever. I'm new to her kits. I've never seen her. None of her kits come with Daniel Smith. They come with these like liquid watercolor, and I'm not like a fan of dye-based watercolor. So like, when did she do a curated palette with Daniel Smith? And can I just email Daniel Smith and be like, hey, I want to buy 100 Becca Hilburn palettes. Is that a thing we can make happen? Like, is that a thing we can make happen? Oh, this is tape. This was just cut from something else, honestly. Like Christmas wrapping or something. No, well, I didn't even, it's still got the tape, and the tape is still sticky. She could have just already tied the cord. I have nicer cord than this. Like, I put nicer cord than this on the handmade ornaments I make and sell. Where is the beginning of this cord? Okay, it got stuck in the sticky. Look, I have a white Christmas tree. This isn't gonna show up on my Christmas tree. If I had a green Christmas tree, it wouldn't show up. You know what would show up though? If she'd gone with chrome. Chrome would have been very cute on my white Christmas tree that has multicolored lights and has handmade ornaments that I've made over the years, and all the paper children and paper crafts that I've been making here on the channel over the years. Like, that would have actually been cute, although not super big on advertising an artist I don't even know. But isn't that what the spirit of the Easily Influenced series is? I think I tied this too long, but that's okay. Wow! So special! We could have done nicer cord. We could have done anything to make it look like, what day are you? Deck the halls. Oh, why do y'all do some of this stuff? I will never know. Okay, so this is the compass. This is be guided in your creative adventures is a compass. Hey y'all, I'm a professional comic artist, and while I do own compasses, do you know what I use? Do you know what I use instead? I mean, not instead, but like, do you know what I use all the time? I love clear acrylic gridded rulers. I have multiples, they're just hiding. I bought this one the first time I went to Japan. That's what I love instead of Sta4edtler. You know, we gotta talk prices at some point, so I'm not here just to like riff on Sarah. I do really like, so it is 100% cotton rag paper. I do actually really like the Codex. The artisan plunges the paper-making frame into a pulp bath, skillfully lifting to distribute the fibers onto the frame. They pause to allow the water to pass through, then place the fresh sheet on woolen felt before plunging the frame back into the pulp bath to shape the next sheet. In the workshop, the craftsman folds the sheets, assembles and sews them into a sturdy binding using cotton thread. 72 pages of 100% cotton rag, 120 GSM paper with a textured finish and a duckle edge. The flexible softcover book features a blank label for customization. Ooh, you're gonna have to crack that. Oh, those of you who like, you better enjoy that spine because you're gonna have to crack it. Now, let's talk about sketchbooks. I know this is the one that is, you've seen this featured on Sarah Cray's Instagram. Now, y'all know I don't do pretty sketchbooks because I don't do pretty sketchbooks. I will never do anything in this because it is too pretty and I can't remove the pages. And that's gonna put an unnecessary amount of pressure on me. I'm just not gonna do it. I know a lot of artists who feel the same way. And I know a lot of artists who hoard beautiful sketchbooks. Oh, it's gorgeous. I need that. I'll definitely use it. I'm going to India this year. I'm going to Japan next year. I'll definitely use it. And then they don't use it. I love the intention, but realistically, this is gonna sit in my house and be pretty and not get used and get covered with dust, and the sizing's gonna go off. Like, realistically. It is really pretty though. I will give her the kudos she deserves for that. Of course it's featured on her Instagram. It's gorgeous. So let us talk. I'm just kind of picking at random. I'm sure those of you who were hoping I would do it like in day order at this point are fuming, and I do apologize. It will probably annoy editing me as well, if that makes you feel any better. This is the frame, and you can get these on Amazon. And you can probably get them in bulk. And a friend of mine who sells art actually recommended I buy a bunch of these in bulk and put my art prints in them because they're fairly inexpensive and people, they like finish the art. They make the art look nicer. This is something to do with mounting. So the way this works is it's magnets. You put it at the top, you put it at the bottom, and it holds it flat. I actually have an art print I can demonstrate with. You can also do this with original art, but I happen to have a print handy. So it is so stinking simple. Might be easier than a frame. And the other beautiful thing about this is you can change this out. Look, so easy. And then for the bottom, and like the very careful people who are pay good attention to detail will have lined up the top and the bottom. That ain't me. Wow. And then you hang it on the wall. Wow. Okay. I actually, now that I've done it, I'm like, maybe I need to order some of these in bulk because I could see this being so much more accessible than frames for my demographic, or a lot of the people who are in my demographic, a lot of the people who like my art. Okay, I'll give you this. It's cute. It's not actual wood. It is MDF Garbo Gubbins. And for what this box cost, it would have been nice to see more handmade things made with small artists. More partnerships would have been really cool. So speaking of what I assume is a partnership, we received an angled shader, an angled wash, synthetic, golden tackle-on. It's okay. And then we received a ceramic brush rest. This thing is so cute. It's so dainty. And it has a small P stamped into the ceramic. I don't know whose maker's mark that is. I wish she would have mentioned in the box. I wish she would have mentioned in the site. I wish she would have mentioned in the emails, because like, this is super cute and it's clear seems like they make watercolor stuff. Maybe I would like to buy a palette from them. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to dig. Next, I'm gonna talk about our 2 tubes of Daniel Smith paint. This is add new colors to your world. And look, I'll be fair, I didn't have Iridescent Vibrant Raspberry and I didn't have King's Royal Blue. I will also be honest and say I really thought we were going to receive more art supplies in this box. Not necessarily an organizer, not necessarily a frame, definitely not a mug, not really this dry your dishes or dry your brushes. I mean, for real. Not really that, like more paints, more brushes, watercolor pencils, color pencils, anything like that. So I am surprised and disappointed that we didn't. But at least we got 2 tubes, one of Iridescent Vibrant Raspberry and one of King's Royal Blue. So we kind of talked about the mug, and we've already kind of talked about the washcloth, the drying cloth. Let me know if you're going to use this. Not if I can send it to you, but like if you got one and you're going to use this. Sometimes the less you say, the better. We also received a paint puck. You guys know I'm a fan of them. This is the new design that actually allows like water to dry from the bottom of the cup so they don't mold as much. My old ones that I bought several years ago, which have held up decently fine. I do have to soak them in vinegar from time to time though, because they do develop mold and mildew. The plus side though to receiving a black paint puck is you won't be able to see the mold and mildew. I like how this came with instructions, but none of the other days came, and that's because that's how it came from where she bought it from. So then we have our ceramic tile, Courageous and Creative. It's a day 12, so I might get an email about it. I'm probably going to, I assume I meant to do like a diluted acrylic wash or a watercolor on it. I'm trying to think about how I want to handle this in terms of editing and releasing the video, because I also want to give her a chance to to give us an idea of how to have a little piece of her art, as she says, a piece of LMA for your art space. I want to give her a chance. It is leaving grit like all over my hands too. Like it's a tile from Home Depot, you know, like what am I supposed to say about this? In an easel from Dollar Tree. How am I supposed to feel? Look, Sarah Cray, you seem like a lovely person. You have a really big audience, but like, do you think new artists, people who are just getting into art, people who are fans of your stuff, do you think they want this? Do you think they want this? Do you think this is day 12 material? Do you think they want this? Look, I might be totally wrong. People might love it. And I might be just like a hater. I might be off track. Like I accept that is a reality. But anyway, okay. So finally, the Let's Make Art 2024 Create Your Own Calendar and the paints. Love the idea. I think it's really fun. Of course, I said I doubt I'll be able to do it because ADHD, but I like the idea, and I do think there are people who will like this. And she says herself that it is a highly requested item that will help you map out 2024. I think just painting it and just adding some illustrations on particularly important days, or maybe doing a little doodle on a day where you had a really good day, that's a beautiful idea. We already kind of talked about Sarah Cray in general in the Let's Make Art kits and the floral watercolors book video, which is going to come out after this video. So I'm sorry, but I am going to kind of talk about her and her social media presence. So what we're really just focusing on is the shop, because the listing for the surprise box did say that several of these items are on her online shop. So I want to see what she's got and what she's selling them for. Unfortunately, not necessarily seeing these things yet. Now here is the 12 Days of Christmas bundle that we're taking a look at. I do see Pabio gouache. I see a lot of her art kits. I see her floral workbook. I see the watercolor confections set. I am not going to be reviewing this. I don't feel any need to review this. It is Mungyo with some pearlescent watercolors. We see some of the kits. That is a dagger. That is not the wash, the angled wash. Is the neo-peg, is this what she includes in her kits? I don't actually know. I mean, she has some cool watercolor art boxes. That's not really like what we're looking at or looking for today. Some lino cutting stuff. Some postcards. Some Gold Faber aqua watercolor pencils, Neocolor, folk art, cyanotypes, that's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm seeing some interesting things, but like, why weren't some of these things in this box? Because I am not seeing anything from this box in her site, on her site yet. Here's her watercolor paper. We didn't even get her, we got like the calendar that probably has her watercolor paper in it, but like, why didn't she send us like a 5x5 pad of her watercolor paper for one of the days? Shizen, which I love. We have some Princeton Neptune brushes, and yet we, well, she has a lot of stuff listed in her shop. I can actually sort it. Come on, Becca. But we've been through many pages of her shop, and we actually haven't seen anything from the box yet. To me, I mean, that's kind of telling. Like, if it's in your advent calendar, but it's not available in your shop, that's a little concerning, especially because she's also selling Crayola. Why are you selling Crayola for like, okay, so Crayola around where I live is like 32 cents to maybe 50 cents a pack. What? Let's try novelty. Maybe we'll find the mug and the dish rag. Now, she has collectible pins, including one of just her logo. She has this mug that I actually like the graphic on the back a lot. But she doesn't even have the mug we received, which, to be fair, is a decent, looks like it's a decent quality mug. She doesn't even have that in her shop. She doesn't even have the handkerchief in her shop. So this is one of the reasons I'm looking at her actual shop, is for her. And okay, so those of you who have hung out with me for a long time, you guys probably remember when I used to do the art subscription boxes. And for products that they themselves make or they have made for them or they white label, it can be incredibly hard to get a price for it because you don't even know. Look, I can tell you what I might value something as, and that might not be a fair assessment of what it's being sold for and what fans who are more interested in branded merchandise, for example, what they might be willing to pay. So I don't just want to go by like what I think it's worth. I want to see what Sarah is selling it for and what she thinks it's worth. So the fact that she doesn't have this listed in her shop, she doesn't have the ornament listed, she doesn't have this mug listed, she doesn't have this listed, she doesn't have the white ceramic tile listed, that she doesn't have the calendar listed, which I assume if it's a popular item, she will soon. She doesn't seem to have the organizer listed. I mean, I can search for it. Like, I'm going to be forced to go to like, I'm going to be forced to go to like Amazon and see what an inexpensive laser cut MDF art supply organizer goes for, because she's not listing it in her site. I don't know what price she thinks is fair. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go do that. I'm going to go compile my prices and like try to make myself a little, I feel bad because this is annoying to me for a few reasons. And I think from what I've seen from Sarah Gray's videos and her online presence that she seems like a very nice person. And I feel bad that I am so like not about this collection of things. Well, I'm all about this, but I'm not all about everything else, because it was just a big letdown, especially for the price. And when you say something is hand curated, I genuinely think there should be more love and care and attention. I mean, so many artists do their top 10 lists each year, right? Like that's a lot of care and a lot of curation going on. And I'm not feeling it with this. I did a lot of digging and I had to do a lot of guesswork, and I'm kind of hesitant to even give you guys a total because a lot of this is like buying in bulk and then subtracting the price. And I'm going to be real with you guys. She probably bought everything in bulk. That's the way you do these boxes. Maybe not the Lamali book, but everything you can get in bulk, you're going to want to try to get it in bulk. So we're going to start with day one. We have 2 tubes of Daniel Smith King's Royal Blue and the Iridescent Vibrant Raspberry. So on Blick, only King's Royal Blue is available and only in a 15 milliliter tube, and they want $13.87 for it, which is not a bad price, but this is a 5 milliliter tube. And then with Iridescent Vibrant Raspberry, according to the Daniel Smith site, it's only available in 15 milliliter tubes, and I couldn't find it on Blick. So let's just say it is also $13.87 if we were working with 15 milliliter tubes. We're actually working with like a third of that size. On day 2, we have a self-branded synthetic angle brush, and I was finally able to find it. I had to dig. It's under her brush set, and she feels that this brush is worth $19.98. I call bull. It is a synthetic tack-along brush, fairly cheap feeling. I would say this is comparable to maybe a Princeton Snap, and there's one that looks very similar on Blick, except they call it an angled shader, and that brush is actually $10.40. Now, this looks to be handmade, and I love that. I wanted to see a lot more handmade and small creator collaborations with this box, because from what I see as an outsider, she has the audience to kind of carry that sort of collaboration. She did not say who made this. I did not find this, could not find this on her site, but I didn't click through every page. I did try searching, so it might be on there with a weird name and I might have missed it. So I went on to Etsy and I found a larger one for $12.55. They actually have a lot of handmade brush rests. There's a lot of different options over there, so you could kind of find what works for you. Now, for our Wallscroll-esque magnetic art frame, I found one, I think it might be this, a 10-inch magnetic hanger frame on Amazon. They're available in various sizes. Individually, it would be $9.99, but this is the sort of thing that you would want to buy in bulk if you were doing this kind of a kit. The handmade watercolor paper book, and again, this seems very nice, is $18.99 over on Paper and Ink Arts. And they actually come in other colors, although I love the color indigo, so that's not really an issue for me. Now, the Sta4edtler Student Compass, I found the exact same one on Amazon, but it's not for sale. They don't have a price for it. But the math set, which includes a ruler, a protractor, an eraser, and a pencil sharpener, is $6 whole. So for the tool organizer, I didn't find this one. I didn't think I would find this exact one, but I found a similar one that actually might be easier to use. It has more and smaller holes, and it also has some brush holes. That was $13.28 on Amazon. For the acrylic laser cut ornament, this is something that if I could have found it on her site, I would have just gone with the price that she gave. She didn't have it on her site, so you can buy the blanks with no laser cutting, just an acrylic blank. 20 pieces, 3-inch clear acrylic blanks for $8.99. For the ceramic mug, this is another one that she's not selling this specific thing in her site, so I went with a similar but not the same for $8.98 on Amazon. For the handkerchief / studio rag, I did the same thing. Could not find this exact thing. I just went with nice cotton handkerchiefs, and I grew up with my dad using cotton handkerchiefs. I know some are more absorbent than others, so I tried to find some that looked like they would be more absorbent to kind of serve the role of studio rags. I found a 12-pack for $20.99. Now, keep in mind that they are unbranded, but the printing on this is actually, in my experience, going to make it less absorbent. And honestly, because it's kind of pretty, you might be less likely to want to use it. So for her 12-day monthly calendar and the DS dots curated by Let's Make Art, I didn't even try. I feel like something in the bullet journaling category would probably be a closer fit, but then it's full of watercolor paper, and I didn't even try. Sarah could claim $20, Sarah could claim $25, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Even though it is blank on the tops of the pages and it's just printed with calendar grids on the bottoms of the pages, and it's probably a cellulose paper. You guys are free to decide whatever price you think is fair for that. For a single paint puck, oh man, it is so easy to missay that. For a single paint puck, this is $5.05 over on Blick. And do keep in mind that Blick does discounts on a lot of items if you order more than 10, and I believe they have teacher discounts as well. But then for day 12, we have a ceramic tile, white mostly glazed, and a small cheap wood easel. I found similar but not the same. I found a 24-pack of ceramic tiles unglazed for crafting for $28.99, and it comes with cork backs and holders. And I didn't even bother to look up the wood easels. They're $1.25 at Dollar Tree. Wanted to test out the art supplies that were actually included in the set, minus the paint puck, she said, but the glass I'm using does have a paint puck in it, so I'm technically demonstrating the paint puck. So for the Daniel Smith tubes, King Royal Blue is very pretty, quite similar to a Vertiver Blue. I'm not huge on the iridescence, and my tube of iridescent Vibrant Raspberry kind of exploded on me. The collab page, Rhodonite Genuine, is a weird choice because it's one of the ones that just doesn't reconstitute well from dried half pans or dots. Mayan Blue Genuine is another one that's really struggling to reactivate and is another strange choice for a dried out dot card. Neutral tint is a neat inclusion. I love neutral tints and rarely see them included in collaboration palettes. The rag isn't as absorbent as I am used to with Viva's. The angled wash is rather large for this swatch off and for the dot card. As a fan of Shizen, I'm not really into this handmade paper, but I also haven't had a chance to do like a real painting on it yet. It's not terrible, I'm just not really a fan of watercolor papers with a linen texture to it. Next, I'm going to do mass tone swatches since I did blended out washes. It's interesting to try out other people's curated palettes. You can kind of start to get into their head and get an idea of how they use those colors and where. This is a different palette from what I use, but I think in general it's got some quite serviceable colors, particularly if you work fresh from the tube where they can be best appreciated. I'm going to let these base swatches dry, and then I did the mass tone on the side. These kind of handmade papers can take forever to dry. So sometimes I have this bad problem where I might enjoy something, but the frustration of the situation ruins it for me. This happens a lot when I'm making art, where I might struggle with a material or I might struggle with the process and have a negative impression of the art when the piece actually turned out really good. I think the opposite might be kind of what's going on with this box, because I had fun opening and unboxing it, but I quickly became frustrated by the lack of explanation behind her choices, by some of the choices in the box itself, like an ornament and a mug and a handkerchief. And I just felt incredibly let down because I felt like the promise and the price of the box was more than what we received here. And it was particularly disappointing because, as I've mentioned before, I actually like her tutorials, I like her kits, and I thought her floral workbook was great. And we'll talk about her kits and her floral workbook in an upcoming video. The timeline just didn't quite work out for me. So I expected more of this box. So I did not grab exactly the highlights and exactly the lowlights, but I did grab a couple of each. And the piece de resistance, in my opinion, there's two piece de resistances. The acrylic Let's Make Art Clear ornament is in another room. I really don't love that. And the tile, the white, somewhat glazed tile, is in another room. I will probably, it's like December 11th. I'm waiting to see if she says anything to us about that tile, like something to do with the tile. I really want to give her the benefit of the doubt because she did promise a bonus tutorial. So I'm waiting on that. So those are up in the air. That might turn out really cool. We will see. But the two I have with me that I would say they're worth something. They're not worth nothing, but they're not what I was expecting, not what I was looking for, and not in a good way, is the handkerchief, which does absorb some water, but not as much as you would like. Maybe it needs to be washed first. And the mug, which frankly, I just don't need another mug. It will get used, but I don't need one. Now, some of the highlights include the calendar. That's really cool. Is it for me? No, but I can see who would really like it. The dot card set of Daniel Smith dot cards, that was really neat. It was really fun to look at her favorite colors in a format that I'm more comfortable with because her kits include dye-based watercolors and I really struggle with those. I also have mixed feelings about the journal. It's not for me. I don't like that kind of faux linen texture that they've got. It's probably a real linen texture, right, from putting it between the mats, but I like a more organic, a more chaotic sort of texture, more randomized texture. That's personal preference. Somebody else might really enjoy this. Shizen makes some watercolor sketchbooks that I really, really like, and they're spiral bound, which I love that. I'm not a big soft cover, or I guess this is somewhere in between soft and hard cover journal person, just period. So it's not going to be a hit with me because I'm just not that person. And then we also received 2 tubes of Daniel Smith 5ml paint, and both of these tubes are typically only available in 15 milliliters, so it's kind of neat to receive a smaller size that might be more appropriate for travel or just to see if you like the colors. So there were some ups and some downs. I'm going to share my final total for this box right here. And keep in mind, I could not find most of these items in her shop. I couldn't find most of these items as is online. So this is a heavy guesstimate, and take it with a massive, massive pinch of salt. I will not be doing this box again. Let me know if you think this box is a good fit for you or someone you know who would really enjoy it, or if you kind of agree with me. I have to say my disappointment really set in when we started getting into the Let's Make Art branded things. So we got the acrylic ornament, then we got the mug, and then we got the handkerchief thing, and then we got the tile. And I was I was done with that. That felt to me kind of like filler, but I am also not that level of a Sarah Cray fan, right? So like, let's recontextualize this. And I like Taylor Swift, but I'm not like a big Taylor Swift fan. But I know like there are people who are like absolutely over the moon for her and her music. So for someone like that, giving them a Taylor Swift branded ornament that was manufactured with her consent, they would probably love that. That would be worth it to them. So if there are Sarah Cray fans out there who love her like Taylor Swift levels of love, they might really appreciate the ornament and the mug and the handkerchief and the ceramic tile. But I think most of y'all who are watching this, you're fans of art supplies. You're not necessarily that type of fan of artists and art influencers, although we all have the artists who we like, just really love and admire their work, and it brings a smile to our faces. And we would be happy to own their art, their illustration, their books, kind of in a different level. I'm talking logos, right? Like, I don't love anybody's logo. I don't love my own logo that much. I don't love anybody's logo so much that I want it in an advent calendar. So take my price estimate with a heavy grain of salt. There were some like substitution made. There were some best guesses made. This is just for fun. This is not a call out. This is not a deep dive. It's not that deep, y'all. But in the end, I had mostly fun. There was a lot of frustration, but mostly fun because I always have fun when I hang out with you guys. I had mostly fun doing this box. If you guys celebrate Christmas, I hope you guys have a safe, happy, and warm Christmas this year. If you celebrate anything else, I wish the same for you as well. And if you're not going to celebrate anything, whether you celebrate later in the year or you just don't do holidays, I hope that you have a safe, happy, and warm December. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Reviews like this are only made possible thanks to the generosity of my patrons on Patreon and from sales from my shop. You can join my Patreon for just $2 a month at patreon.com/natosoup. And if you like my art and you'd like to bring some of it home with you or have it sent home to you, you can order it at natosoup.com/shop. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye, guys!